Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's episode where we'll be talking a lot about marriage and culture. So, it's going to be a very interesting one. Let's see who's in the comments today. If y'all are here, just let us know who's in the comments. We would love to see you and hear you. All right. So, we have CA. Okay. We got prize for being first or not. So, this is our first viewer. Okay, so thank you very much for coming, and I'm sure a lot of y'all will be coming in soon. So today we have a very special topic that we're going to talk about, and it's by my two good friends. Okay, I actually met them not long ago, but we found a lot of interesting things about each other. So what do you call this now? Today we're talking about the topic of marriage, right? So marriage, I want to know how many of y'all in the comments today are married. Just let me know if y'all are comfortable with it, because I understand that I'm not married personally, but what do you call this, I understand from my friends and from my parents so that marriage is not easy, right? We have a lot of challenges that we face in a marriage, right? But what happens in Malaysia is that we find that many people, because of our cultural differences, we find a lot of mixed marriages. And I feel that mixed marriages sometimes have even more challenges because you have the elements of culture that comes in to play a part in the marriage. So okay, we have CA. CA is married. CA Ngo, he's married. So anybody else that's married, just feel free to comment. Now, without further ado, I would like to actually invite my friends, Joe Raj and also Eunice Raj. Okay, both of them have a very unique story because they both came from very traditional backgrounds. My friend Joe is Indian, from an Indian family, and my friend Eunice is actually from a Chinese family. So there are differences in culture. So we're going to bring them on stage and see how are they, making this unique marriage work. All right. So without further ado, let's welcome Joe and Eunice. Hello,
Hi,
guys. Hi, Joe. Hi, Eunice.
Hey,
Welcome.
Rachel.
hi, Rachel.
How are y'all feeling today?
Huh? Nervous. I told all my friends I'm nervous. Never done this before. Some of them already calling me YouTuber. I say, what YouTuber? What is that?
Yes, yes, yes. So, yeah, this is their first time coming on a virtual live show. So, everybody, please do give a round of applause to them, for breaking through this barrier. It's not easy to come on stage like this and speak. So, yeah, it's a good effort that you all brought. So,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Rachel, for having us. Thank you.
No
Thank you.
problem,
Really
no
appreciate
problem.
it. Thank you.
So I want to know, so I introduced to the audience a bit, like, the story. Both of you are from different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, right? And you're met. So actually, how did y'all meet? Like the full story. Like, could you like give us a bit of how y'all met?
You understand?
All right. Okay. Let me start first. Two of us, I think the common place that we met is in UPM. We end out the food science and technology student at the same year. And then what happened is in UPM itself, the campus and the place that we stay is very far. So that is when the transport was needed. And then I had a motorbike, and then Joe was not having any motorbike at all. And what is the amazing thing is, I think my roommate Rebecca, she suggested like, hey Eunice, why not both of us we give this provide this transport for Joe, since we are going to the same class. Then without any hesitant, I just said no problem with me, I'm okay, because I'm a motorbike rider since Form 3. Yeah. So I
Wow,
think that's how it started from there.
not bad, huh? First time. I mean, it's a modern age, like, we see the women riding more motorbikes. So last time only men would ride, right, or
Oh,
motorbikes. Now
yes.
women.
She will come and she will pick me up from my house and we will go. We will go and she will drive this legendary Yamaha C70 Kapchai. And every time it goes over a hump, I'll be looking at left and right whether any of the equipment fell off or not. But the bike is still intact. And then we will drive very slowly. Then you'll see a cycling fella go past us. He is driving. He's cycling faster than us. I look at. I whispered to my wife. I say hello. can go a bit faster, you know. And she said, I'm already going fast, already maximum already, you know. But as she said, like, no, jokes aside, if it is not for that wonderful bike ride, we would never have gotten to know each other. My wife
Mm.
and I had a lot of, uh, impactful conversations on the bike while we
Wow.
are coming to the classes, going to our classes or going anywhere, even at times when our classmates would plan for something, right? We will all like take a bike convoy to go to the city center from Sedang. You know? Those days, in the early days, there was no Mines shopping center, there was no KTM commuter station. Sedang was really a cowboy town. So if you want to
Mhm.
watch movie, you have to take two bus to go to Putraya. So once we got our bikes, we realized that, okay, it's more convenient. Let's go. So we would take our bike lah, and on the bike, while we are driving, and we will be talking lah, chatting, getting to know each other. Eventually, we realized that you want to run through something, you want to call that person. Hey, what do you think? I want to do
Mhm.
this, and then she would do the same thing to me. She would call. She would say, "Hey, like this is like this. What do you think?" So it became like a reference point, and we became actually the best of friends. Correct?
Mm.
After a few years lah, after a few years
Yeah.
in the same course,
Uh,
right?
about 2 or 3 years lah. In our third year, we became
Mm.
actually very best friends. And yeah, the people were actually say, "Hey, so something going on, ah?" No, really no. You know?
Especially, especially our coursemate, they walk past what they say, hey, two of you, anything happen between both of you? Then I will be the one say, no, there's nothing. We're just
You-
good friends
the
only.
the answer will be instant, no hesitation.
Those days, yeah.
And it went on like this, and up to our final year, then I really realized that I think there was one time, uh, we she mentioned something, and I was like, hey, why why she said this, and then you pursue this matter, right, because you want to get clarification. And then um, and then we I asked her lah, hey, so and this was, I think, in the third year, second semester, towards the second semester. So, you know, would you be open to the idea for us to date? And again, without any hesitation, she said yes.
Wow.
And I was wondering whether I was in a dream. I looked at her and said, I asked her again, did you just say yes? She said yes.
Those days were very innocent, because we get to know each other as a classmate. Then from classmate we became friends. Then from friends became closer friends. So for me, when he asked the question, it's like very naturally it just come like, hey, why not? Nothing wrong with that. So that was the
So
status.
then we explored the
Mm,
idea, lah, and of course, there was a lot of issues that we needed to iron out, family, and that took a considerable amount of time.
mm,
I would say that we actually dated for almost 8 years, 8 years
Wow.
before we actually got married. I would say from '99 up to actually no, not really 8 years. I would say 7 years,
mm,
'99 to about 2005. We got
And
married
then
in January 20,
2000.
2005. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's been 16 years of marriage and 7 years of courtship, total 23 years.
so y'all got married on the eighth year lah. So that's Ong, right? Young.
Yeah.
Before Chinese New Year.
On for Chinese, yeah. It's very true, yeah.
Not bad, right? Right. Very, very. I feel like wow, one bike ride. Bike rides. How much they can lead to. Something so small, so simple, right? But look at how much your blessings it has brought y'all, right? So
Legendary bike lah, Yamaha C80. I'll never forget lah.
you cannot forget that bike, Joe. It's very meaningful. Yeah, but I really I admire how it's not, especially today, it's not very common to hear how people just wait from going to best friend, and then slowly taking your time to start dating. It's very very rare to hear this nowadays. Most of the time it's like you meet each other after a few months, it's like marriage. I mean, sorry, it's dating, and then sometimes even after a few months of knowing each other, you already get married. It's very, very, very fast. So it's very unique to see that, somebody that takes their time and how the friendship develops, into something until like what Eunice used to say. The time when you asked her, it was like, it's already like quite. It didn't seem like such a shocker because it was already gradually going there, right? So
Correct,
that's something
correct.
nice.
It was
So
I actually maybe I would say that we were in denial lah. The feelings already developed already. But just don't want to admit lah. Lah, when you are in your early 20s, and also don't know how to even really explore this seriously
mm,
because I had a few relationships in the past that really didn't work out. So I actually made a vow before God that the next girl, she must be someone that I really all the way, how do I say, all the way and consider towards marriage. There shouldn't be any more fun.
mm.
It's that should be the way. So we put God as our foundation, and that's how things and God kept us sane during the process lah, because it was not easy. It was really
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But what was it like? Like, before we go to the next question, I just want to. There's a lot of comments here. Let me just bring them up. So we have Darling and Drew. So you,
we know
these
that.
these are some of your fans now. Okay.
Yeah,
Then we
she
have
loves them.
Charles.
He,
Those
he
old.
Casting.
he's
Yes.
our classmate, and he was
Oh,
there.
okay.
He was there when it happened.
Yeah. Hi,
All the
Charles.
way.
Hey,
Papa.
Tiao.
Yeah. Can
All
witness.
right.
Can witness the whole thing.
Yeah. Then we have also CA. He was saying, sparks were already flying back then when the
Yeah,
motorbike
flying
incident.
already. Flying with just bodoh saja.
Not realizing now. Not realizing what is happening. Very
Yeah.
confused. Uh,
So we also have a comment here. This is Eunice colleague.
yeah. This is
Oh,
my teacher.
all
Hello,
right. Thank you
Kathy.
so much.
Oh, suami contoh. Terima kasih. Cikgu.
Yeah.
All right. Um, so since both of y'all are from what Joe was telling me, like both of y'all are from very different backgrounds in terms of culture. So what was that like? Like as going into the marriage, how was the challenges like, and how what did y'all do? To overcome them.
Right. Now, this one, my before she share, let me share. I think when you marry someone, you don't just marry that someone, you marry the entire clan, and that's completely true. Okay, so my wife comes from a very big family. I come from a very small family. There was only the three of us in the family. Actually, well, three siblings and my parents, so there's about five of us. And my wife comes from a family of six siblings.
Oh,
And what's more is she's my mother-in-law. Bless her, she's a mother to me, and she comes from a family of nine siblings. So she's the eldest. And can you imagine during the Chinese New Year, they have to close the road to have a gathering, it's when there is a clan gathering, and I really enjoyed it because you come from a small family, you enter a big family, right? It's really what happening. I think the in-laws are more excited than the the clan themselves, lah. so so you have to assimilate into their family, right? So I can tell you very clearly, before I dated my wife, I don't even know how to use a freaking chopstick.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
I don't know. I rather forego and be hungry than use a chopstick. And lo and behold, when I went to their house, they use bowl and chopstick. And I looked at my wife at that time and girlfriend lah. I said, no fork and spoon lah. No, eat with the chopstick. No, cannot lah. You- Then her late grandmother cooked for us. She saw that I was struggling, so she brought fork and spoon. Then I look at her and say, "You tipu, fork and spoon." So I know I want you to learn. If you come to Setiawan, that will be how it is. All of us will be using chopstick. Takkan lah you want to use fork and spoon kan? So she trained me lah. She
Yeah.
trained me how to use it, the positioning of the fingers, and even making sure that the chopsticks at the back doesn't crisscross. She said she said those who crisscross their chopsticks are fake Chinese. She cannot. So she really trained me every other day, and purposely bring us to Chinese shop and make me eat the noodles with a chopstick. So I learned, and when I went again to see my wife's late grandma, and I used chopstick, she was so impressed. She was so
Really?
impressed, and I could not say it in English to me because they're all Hokkchus, right? So she spoke to my wife in Hokkchus. She said, "Wow, I'm very impressed. Your husband can really use chopstick. Learn chopstick just because of you." I wish I could understand her. I would say, "No, I did it reluctantly, but I had no choice." But you have to assimilate, right?
Yeah.
So that's just one example. You want to add anything?
Yep. The learning chopstick one is actually I intentionally want him to learn because I'm thinking of for Chinese New Year or family gathering, everybody is using chopstick. If you are the person use fork and spoon, right, they'll be like looking at him one kind. So I don't want that glare to be on him. And then this would be a very good platform for me to introduce him into my family. It's like look, like I can tell my family, like, look, he's trying, he's learning some of the Chinese culture or Chinese practice. So that was one of it, one of the area that I have to focus on. I said you have to learn no crisscross. That one in Taiwan is considered failing because for wedding festival or wedding feast, everybody is using chopstick, and then when the food come, right, everyone is going in to grab the food. If your
Oh,
chopstick kung fu not good, people can snatch the food from your chopstick, even it's already on your chopstick there. That was my kampong. Right.
oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I mean, I sometimes I my chopstick will cross lah, but sometimes we straight lah, so it's off and on.
It's okay lah.
just just
Don't worry about
for
it.
him, just for him. That is my
The onus was
expectation.
on me, so I had to
Um,
do it. I had to do it.
so that means
So
you learn to use chopstick before getting married lah.
yes, especially when I started dating her. Before that, no.
Uh-huh.
We would walk into a Chinese shop and they will all be using chopstick, and I'll put up my hand. Mana spoon dengan fork? They will bring. So now they will assume that I need fork and spoon. Then I say, Tamao, Tamao chopstick. Eh.
Wow,
then
different show already.
then beside that, I think my husband also went university, the Chinese, right, Mandarin class. He went and learned, I think, level one, level two during that time.
I said, that one
Ah,
kindergarten level lah.
at least for some foundation get to know the family, and that was considered very good effort from him I consider that
And then I asked my wife, how do you say it's really nice? Hi, how are you in Hokkien lah? And she will tell me lah. So when I surprise them with this one-liners, especially her relatives, they will all be like, wow. Then they continue. Then I say, saya tak faham.
Slowly lah, slowly. Step by
at least
step.
yeah at least with my mom Chinese New Year, especially the first day, the rice one misua, when my mom served to give him the one of the largest bowl, then after that, after he ate, then he would just say, how should I say in Hokkien? So I say, you have to tell yourself, okay, I'm not going to tell on behalf of you to my mom. So he will turn to my mom and say Jing Ho Liak, right?
Yeah.
So that was the very few language in Hochu that he was learning during the earliest day in Sitiawan. And I was really, really amazed by his support lah. He was very sporting and he want to learn.
That was like the first Chinese New Year when I went back, and we were still dating. Right? They were reluctant to embrace me in because of the different ways. Let's just say this: she was worried about her daughter. My mother-in-law was worried whether she chose the right man. So I have to really prove myself. Of course, in at that time, when you're young, you'll be like, why lah, the thing here is they don't know you, so you have to show them lah. So when I turned up, I got the approval from. She gave me the green light, say you can come. So I went. That was the first Chinese New Year lah, and I remember the feeling lah, so scared, very nervous, and went quietly to the house. um, and they were my wife's siblings were very welcoming. They were very good, especially my wife's older brother. He was very good. He and the older sister was very, very good, very welcoming. Knew that I'm coming, go and cook curry for me. Oh, yeah, curry pork is the bomb lah. I fell head over heels over it. And the it is customary for them to have rice wine noodles for breakfast on the first day of Chinese New Year. So that time, and it's also customary for them to give the big bowl to the men of the house. Now, in that family, they had two men, one older brother and one younger brother of my wife lah. And I was just waiting by the side of the table, and they asked me to sit down, so I sat down. And I remember the big bowl suddenly came to me. And I said, "This something's wrong here. I don't think it's meant for me." Then my sister-in-law, my wife's younger sister, whom is also now my colleague lah, Esther. She said, "No lah, mom told me to give it to you because she accept you into the family already." Oh,
Wow.
cannot forget the moment, man. Cannot forget that moment. That
My
was the
God.
sign of acceptance. And till today, rice wine miswa is my favorite dish. My mother-in-law knows it. When she's here in KL, she'll call me. Hey, I'm cooking rice wine miswa today. You wanna come over to my sister-in-law's house? I go for sure. Go and no matter drop, anything go. Because my mother-in-law cook. the head chef.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
come with blessing. It's a special delicacy, and then yep, especially from the elderly one cook for you, it's like a endorse you, approval.
It's like an
So
approval.
real
Yeah,
good, yeah.
really good lah. So that was my defining moment lah.
That's when you knew
When
lah.
Yeah, I knew immediately. At first, I couldn't believe it. No, I'm pinching myself. Dream, dream, dream. You know. then, then they say no lah. She accept you already. That means you're getting the big bowl. Wow, so excited, man. Super excited.
Only those who are accepted into the family gets a big bowl lah. If guests and all, it's a small bowl, is it? Normal size bowl.
Well, everyone else gets a standard bowl.
Oh, okay, okay,
The
okay. Only
big
the
one
men
is for the
house.
men. Usually, it's for the men. So it was special because they are like the main people in the house. In customary, even in the Indian family. I grew up in a traditional Indian family where my dad and I would sit on the table and we will eat, and we won't pick up our plates. My mother
Mhm.
will pick up the plates, right? That's
That is
because
correct.
that's how it is. And but here it's like that. The men gets the bigger portion. So it's
Mm-mm-mm.
like a sign of acceptance. And I was so grateful. Lah. That was a memorable CNY for me.
I'm sure it was, definitely was. But so thank you so much for sharing that story with us. And I like how the fact that Eunice, you taught your husband how to actually eat chopstick. You didn't just like scold him, scold him, scold him. You actually taught him. Understand. It's not easy, to teach somebody how to use something. So yeah,
Correct.
we see your teaching skills started from there itself. That's why now today you're a very good teacher, right, in school.
You
From
don't
those
know
days.
the agony.
It's like holding the calligraphy for Chinese. So this one chopstick for Chinese also got special way of holding. Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
So our friend is a calligraphic Chinese calligraphic writer. So that's basically the background for training. So when she trained
Mm.
me, she was very patient, but she was also very naggy lah. She was like, "You need to do this lah. You need to do this." So I got the message lah. No choice lah. So even when I was at home, I will try to pick stones, pick marbles.
Oh, you practice
So
that.
I learned lah, must learn. So eventually. then go for practical with my wife lah. Then when she say, okay, you're ready, this weekend we're going to see my grandmother. Then dah.
Yeah.
Then eventually the moment of truth with my mother-in-law and my in-laws. That was
Mm.
so it was a breeze when the chopstick technique worked because they actually asked out of courtesy, do you need a plate and fork and spoon? No, give me the bowl.
Yeah.
So they were like,
So they
oh, you can use.
Not bad, not bad. Very, very good initiative, Joe, and very good teaching, Eunice. Yes, very good student.
It goes both ways. My
Yeah.
wife, when she was coming to my family,
yeah.
she embraced the Indian culture too. She quickly bought a
Punjabi.
Punjabi suit.
Wow.
I impressed my dad and my mom and learned how to using hands. So she it was a breeze for her as well. And there were teething. I'm not saying that it's honeymoon.
Yeah.
We had our low points, we had our difficulty, improving
Challenges.
ourselves, challenges, improving ourselves. But
Mm.
we thank God that we were able to start a family together with the blessing of both our parents. So
Yeah.
my parents and my future mother-in-law, my late father-in-law has already passed on before we
Mm.
got married. So we said to each other that we want to get their blessing. Only then we'll get married.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that's what we did, and that's why we waited that long. That's
That's why
7 years.
the 7 years come in.
Preparation,
Get
lah.
it? Yeah.
Mm.
Trying to get.
The
Trying to get.
blessing and approval.
Yeah, my parents also actually dated for 7 years, so we have something in common, lah. So
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, same story as I mean, they weren't from different cultures, but I'm pure Indian. But what do you call this? They also had to get they wanted to finance their own wedding on their own, and they really took their time, lah. So that's why they took the 7 years, lah, to get to.
Right.
Hmm. So yeah, so let's look at the comments. So we have Elda Bong. She says hi to everybody. I
My,
think she's
my
friends with
wife's ex housemate.
Yes, my yeah.
housemate. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
Unihan. Yes.
We were in the same
Hi,
university.
Elda.
Hello, Elda. Long time no see.
And then we have what do you call this? How Wang Su. He's
Su
also
Hawang, actually.
Mm.
oh okay.
Uh,
Sorry.
he is my wife's younger sister's husband
My
Hmm.
brother-in-law.
and an avid fan of Rajinikanth.
Not but influenced by you, lah, Joe.
Oh, they were already.
Before they met him, they already.
Then we have Doran Wang. Sorry,
Doreen
Doreen.
one,
Doran.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Doreen. Hi,
So
Doreen.
Hello, Doreen, young Arif,
Yes.
lawyer. Terbaik.
then we have Satya Wan Fu Chao is what does this mean? Do you know?
Pucha Hot Shoes,
Ah,
the
the
clans.
clan.
Yeah. So yes, my wife is Fu Chao.
Yes.
Fu
From
Chao. I see, I
Sitiawan.
see.
Yes, from
So it's like a
Sitiawan.
dialect lah, basically.
Mm,
See, I
correct.
see. Not bad. So yeah, we have people here so picking marbles using chopsticks. Yes.
Yes, went through that training.
Anew.
Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah. So let's move on. What do you call this? I'd like to know since it's been 16 years already, right? And you have three beautiful daughters with you. How do you practice, raising your children up with different cultures?
Hmm. Okay. So you want to start, or shall I share?
You should.
Okay. I The thing is when um, we believe, okay, we made a few decisions when we were about to get married. Okay, number one, we will need to practice give and take. So not everything from one side. We'll have to choose what is suitable and nice and good to be practiced. So we will take. So even doing when we were planning for marriage, you know, very eager and helpful relatives were throwing in their ideas.
Mm.
So we pick and choose. So we decided to take certain things and we discarded certain things. So when we raised our children, I told my wife that we will take from both cultures.
Yeah.
Mm.
So my children calls us Appa and Amma,
Oh, okay.
okay, but they will call my
Children,
wife side relatives Ee, you know,
小舅,
Xiao Chiu, Ta Chiu,
一丈,
Yi Chang. Okay, these are uncle and auntie. And
Mm.
mm,
on my side, they will know how to call people Peripa, Stapa, Cinema. They know. So certain things we made it very clear. Relatives, they are your family. So you need to show them respect, especially if they are older than you. So those cousins older than you, Akka. And even my wife, my sister's kids who are younger than my kids, they will call my children Akka. So we practice that. So we take the common good. We
Mm.
celebrate Chinese New Year because it's
mm,
cultural, and it's a good thing to do because you gather with all your family members, loved ones that you have not seen for a long time. We
Yeah.
look forward for it, and we celebrate Christmas because that's one thing that my family celebrates. So we made these decisions earlier before we actually started a family. And
Mm.
if there's something that we are not sure, we'll just ask ourselves, what do you think?
mm.
And we will take it from there. And ahead.
Yeah, actually, we allow one good thing about this mixed marriage I can see is we allow our children to go to both sides of the family. Like my husband mentioned, Chinese New Year they are exposed to Chinese side of cultural practices, family atmosphere, how they relate to each other in very Chinese way in that sense. And then during Christmas time, we will go to my husband's side, and then we will mix with his cousin side, all the auntie uncles, and it was a very good eye opener for my children. And then from there, since young they already exposed to this both side of family. So until today, if you ask them like, whether they are Chinese or Indian or what, they actually know both sides, and then they embrace the good, the benefit, and the good strength from both sides. And they are very open in that sense. Like they won't say like, I don't want to mix with
Mhm.
this or what. They are not. That is
Mhm.
not in their dictionary.
Yeah.
And then they are very ready, especially for food. Yeah, my girl will say one. She is very privileged because she has come across Indian food. For myself, also my very first impression of my mom-in-law cooking. Right, I think one is a mango chutney. When she cooked mango chutney, I was like, wow! I was really like taken off. I said, wow, what dish is this so nice? And then when I found out that it's cooked from mango, I was like, wow, that is such a good food. And from my own background, actually, I have never taken thosai, vade, only roti canai maybe once a while. But for thosai, vade, even appam, all these things, right? For me, it's a very new thing. So my girls, they grew up with my mom-in-law here, and then when they go to Sitiawan, they can see my mother's side, and then they really know how to appreciate and values, and these two come in as a real strength for them now. I look at
Mm.
it, it's like if we have any differences that on different stand, then we two will come together and just discuss about it. And then shall we practice this or
Mm.
shall we not? We decide for our own family here lah. Two of
Mm.
us we will stand
Mm.
on the same point. Then we will implement it lah. Ah,
We want our family to have the identity of both sides, but we don't want a tilt on just one side.
Mm.
I mean, the Indian fellow will always say, "Hey, you are the man one, so the wife should follow you." But
Yeah,
there
yeah,
are
actually.
good, the but there are good stuff also from their side, right? And
Mm.
I can also share this when my wife was pregnant with our youngest, and my late mom was actually staying with us at that time, and she was pregnant, and my mother-in-law came and stayed with us as well to do confinement. So my wife had two mothers taking care of her during
Wow,
her
very
confinement.
awesome.
They stayed together under the same roof and they became the best of friends. It's really amazing. My mom loves my mother-in-law's noodles, fried noodles, because my mother-in-law is a very industrious woman. She she both our family come from poor background, but my mother-in-law, she used to have a noodle shop. She used to
Oh,
sell noodles, and she made the noodles using her hands, using a machine, manual
Homemade.
machine. They had a noodle making machine which she brought out, and she would make the noodles herself and fry it. So my mother loved it. So anytime when my mother was actually having cancer and she had lack of appetite, my mother-in-law would visit and bring with her a bowl of her fried noodles, and my mother would finish it. In fact, she'll ask for more. Uh,
wow.
and in that 2 months, it was that I think that they became really close in the effect of the 2 months. So much so that my mother and my mother-in-law will sit down and watch Tamil movie serials, and they will sit down and watch Chinese movie serials together
Mm.
with my children. And I used to come back and I would wonder, am I in the wrong house? 1 year, my mother-in-law hooked us on the Chinese serial, and my mother introduced the Tamil movie serial. They would know what time to what time my mother-in-law need to watch TV, and my mother-in-law would go and it's my mother's turn to watch, and they would sit there and they would watch now. I would be like, "Oh, yo, this is amazing."
Not bad, huh? A lot of understanding between the two. I mean, two of them, even to y'all also. The way y'all make decisions between. I think that's really important. Like communication and actually making the decision together, not just one side. I mean, not just thinking and assuming what the other person feels or and going with it, but actually confronting each other and actually planning it out, right? So like even like being in the insurance industry, so like we make a lot of financial decisions, right? We help clients make a lot of financial decision. Do you think that being different cultures does impact financial decisions? So for example, like because usually we plan things for education purposes, right? Saving for college, all these kind of things, but actually our children's lives don't end at college. It's actually starts at college. A whole new chapter starts there. And some ideas of using savings plan like endowment plans and all is to save for marriages. Your parents, as a parent, you save for the kids marriage and all. So like, do you think, in your opinion, does this cultural differences does impact the amount you want to save for your child, the way you want to save for your child? Do you, in your opinion, Eunice and Joe, what do you think?
You understand?
I think from my own opinion, I think for whether they are from different culture or what, the moment they want to plan financially, their focus will be the same. This
Mm.
the focus be on their children. So I think if their focus and priority is on their children, that means their focus and then the way of them investing, maybe there will be difference in the amount or investment, but in terms of coverage, in terms of protection, I think whether you are from any background, any culture, they will think of their children as their priority. That one, I think there won't be any differences in this stand, in making this stand. Yeah.
Correct. I think when it comes to finance, I think everybody doesn't want to. No one plans to fail. Everyone
Yeah.
wants to succeed, right? So it is not affected by culture as per se, but I think it is more towards the priorities that we make. So I have seen, people from different races in my appointments. Right, I meet people from different races, and they make financial mistakes. They don't prioritize rightly. So I cannot pinpoint saying, oh, one race is like this. No, actually, it's the way that you have been brought up, and it's the way our parents have instilled values in us. So both of us are from poor background, and in my case, my father was the only one working, but my mother had to, jump into the catering business just to support the three of us in school, because my father's salary as a driver earning 450 ringgit was just not enough. And we never had a car, we never had a
Mm.
bike. Even getting a bicycle was a big thing in the house. So my father taught us how to really value savings. So when we both came together, uh, planning for finance was never an issue because we knew what we want and we financed our own wedding. So when we did that, we saved what we could and how is whatever thing that we can squeeze, we squeeze lah. We will never jump in and make an unnecessary purchase, even to the point of like me making a decision walking away from my career to join the insurance industry. After 22 years in the food industry, we had to plan 1 2 years before time and decide, is this something that we can cope with, and are we ready for this? So there was honest opinions exchanged. In stressful moments, and worked out the numbers. But whenever we make a financial decision, we make it together.
That's
Uh,
very important.
that's important.
Yeah, because like as you know, this MC also happening, right? Many marriages are actually breaking. There have been an increase in divorce rates and all, and mainly when we find out what's the reason is because of money issues. Money is actually something that many couples cannot agree on. There's a lot of tension between this word money. So yeah, so if y'all can, looking at how y'all are managing things, doing it together, I think that's the key takeaway lah, that people should
Right.
take home to that it's not just about one side, it's about two of you together, what happens,
Right.
right?
Correct. Correct.
So
Correct.
do let us know, what do you think, these financial decisions, are they impacted by culture? Just let
Mm.
us know in the comments below. So let's move on. I would like to ask Joe, what do you call this, tips to see. I noticed that both you and Eunice have what do you call this unique understanding between each other, like, from the time before y'all got married, so until now, the way y'all are doing things, you have this very good understanding, right? And do you have any tips that you could share to the audience here today on how to better understand their partner, you know be it from the same culture or different culture, but just as a human being, how do you understand each other? There's still men and women, differences are there.
Huh, okay. So what I'm gonna say may perplex some people, but no, I don't think anyone will be surprised lah. So the first thing is patience. So you need to be patient in, if you're serious about this relationship, then you would be patient with your partner and work in making the relationship workable and a success. And you don't want to survive in a relationship, you want to thrive, in a relationship. And because this, those days when in the 80s when I was a kid, we used to watch Tamil movies, and in the Tamil movies the movie will end when the couple is getting married, and we all thought, oh, that was it, no, that was it. But
Happy
when you
endings.
grow up, you realize that marriage is the beginning. It is not the end of the movie. Hey, hello, no, it's supposed to start something new, right? So when you want to get into marriage, it's a serious thing. It's doing life together, and you're going to build a family together. So you have to be patient. Remember, we are not perfect human beings. I have my
Mm.
baggages, my wife has her baggages, and worlds will collide. You know, hey, that's not how we do it. Ah, okay. So how do you do it? We do it totally the opposite of what you guys do. Huh? Really? Oh no! How are we going to settle this? Find a way. Find a way, and the answer will always be something that both parties won't be happy, because it involves 50% giving up. You have to give up 50% of your portion, and I have to give up 50% of the portion. I have to come to the middle ground, and we stay there no matter what people tell you.
That's a very good point. It's like compromise, lah, basically.
Right? So you
You
have to
have.
be really patient, and this goes on all the way. It's not like on the day of the wedding we settle this, sign a contract, and then nothing happens. No, it happens every time. Every time. Look, we are in a diverse community. You will find people who are racist. You will find, and they come from every race. There's not one particular race, right? It's all. So it depends on who do you meet, right? Or who our children meet. Sometimes our
Mm,
children are subject to the abuse too
yeah.
because of our decision to get married.
Correct.
Our children gets the abuse, and they have. Some of my
Mm,
children got comments, nasty comments. So sometimes my children will come and talk to me. Appa, am I Chinese? Why am I not Chinese? I don't want to be Indian.
They do face their moment of confusion as well, but thank God
um,
they do come back to us and then chat with us, or they will share about their struggles at school. Maybe one or two classmates call them by name, the unpleasant name, and then they'll be, sometimes they don't tell, but after sometimes they'll just tell, Mom, my classmate call me this. They say, huh, how could it be? I said, you are not as such as what they call you. So these are the challenges that they have to face, and then we thank God that they do come back to us lah. They do come back to us.
mm,
Yeah.
And we always tell them, anyone who doesn't respect you that way are not worthy to be your friends. That's it. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's it. The buck stops there.
Mm.
So we have to be
Mm,
really patient, lah. And it's not just us; it's also our offspring, right? So you want to make it work. You have to be really patient. You cannot say I want it all.
Yeah.
yeah.
You can't. You know, you can't also say okay, I'm willing to give everything. Believe me, when you give everything, one day you will snap, and then you'll say, why am I always on the losing side? I I
Mm,
I can't win. No chance to win. No. So you have to come in between, and we are opposite characters.
Yeah.
So opposites attract, right? Then when you
yes.
get married, right? Opposites attack.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how it was.
But I
That's
think
how it was. We had our moments, right? We
right,
had
yes.
our moments, but I'm thanking God for the 16 years of blissful marriage and many more years to come. But we need to put certain foundations to our household in order for this relationship and marriage to work.
Mm, that's interesting. Thank you. Thank
We
you for sharing. So
yeah.
patience. Eunice, you have anything to add?
Yeah, we need to be like my husband mentioned, but I need to mention one thing. Sometimes as a wife or as a mother, I'm a working mother, so I did have my limitation to, like, maybe to cook, or sometimes to cook the Indian delicacies. Maybe sometimes I do miss my Chinese food. So what happened is, in between that, we give and take, and I thank God my husband, not the complaining side, why every time chicken soup or what, we do make like chicken curry of this thing. Only thing is, like, he has been very patient with me, and then he accept my limitation now. He didn't like just shout at me, or just like walk away, or he will just adjust, and then he will just say, okay, I'm going to buy chapati. Buy
Mm,
chapati, and then he will get himself adjusted in those moments, and I really appreciate that, because I have three girls. Some, they have different preference of food. So as a mother, I don't have the time to cook all the different dishes. I'll just say,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
cooking this, what your mom cook you eat, if not you go and cook yourself. I sometimes will tell them like that. So I really thank God my husband is very understanding, and did accept the limitation that I have, and then he rearranged for his side. He didn't like upset with me. He was very patient now, and I hope we will still continue on.
Right? Long
Because
suffering coming good.
nowadays with the virtual online teaching, all these things, the timetable is a very very the time span and the timetable, all these things, and the changes of all the expectation and requirement is not easy to adjust. We are still adjusting, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can imagine.
No, my wife is always trying to say that I adjusted. Actually, she also adjusted. She did a lot. She always trying to be the humble and trying to hide backstage. No lah, she also adjusted. She took care of my mother, my late mother, when she was sick. My wife was the one that took care of her, and so much so that my mother loved my wife so much. I think she loved her more than me. And she will be over the moon with my wife. Even when my late father was around, when he calls me, he will call me, and then 5 minutes later it will be like, "How's Eunice?" And then like, and then he will still ask about Eunice. And then I'll say, "She's just next to me. You want to talk to her?" "No, no, 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 no. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay." Then he will talk about me. Then 2 minutes later, talk about Eunice again. She's just here. No, no, it's okay. So she knows how to really relate to older folks. Actually, that's one of the reasons why I really like her, because of her gift of the gap in reaching out to the older folks, which
Yeah.
was, I mean, amazing. With my mother, she was really amazing. Even my cousins will say
Yeah.
it, that, wow, your wife, God sent. Yes, she is. When it comes to this issue, yes, she is. She's really God sent. It's not easy to take care of an older folk,
Yeah.
right?
I,
Even more when the person was ill, and even more when the person is of different race. Yet, with
mm,
the cultural difference, with the language barrier, they communicated, and my wife took care of my mother. That to me was one of the reasons why I really love this woman.
that's really sweet. Yeah,
I
but
think,
Eunice, kudos
yeah,
to you. I mean, it's not easy handling older folks, right? Especially how was it like? Did you have to learn to cook Indian dishes that time, or you already learned before that, or was it during your mother-in-law's stay?
I learn because my mom-in-law cooking is considered very, very experienced and very good. Until I think she was maybe weekend I will tell her, I said, you take a break. Weekend I cook chicken curry. Then she'll be at the side coaching me what to put. Those are the moments that I really appreciate of her. And then the way that she communicate with me, she is a very gentle lady, and she's a very wise lady. I'll put it in this way. She won't interfere with me and my husband. She give us free room for us to build this family. And but she will give all her support, quiet way, help out in the house, cooking, housework, sometimes even my children's school bags, packing, stationery. She will do it quietly. So I think I'm very thankful, and I'm really thankful for this lady. She's very wise, and I'm also very thankful for my own mom. She also very wise. She don't impose
Hmm.
on us that, okay, you
Yeah,
should run your family in this way. You should
correct,
do this, do that.
correct.
No, they come by as a guest,
Hmm.
and then they watch us. They observe us. After that, they just give us the support that we need. After that, they sort like quietly
Correct,
move on. They move
correct.
on. So we appreciate of these two ladies. They are very wise.
Mm.
In that 2 months when my mother-in-law was with us during the confinement period, there are times that we were really stressed, and we used to have open argument. We had, but my mother-in-law and my mother never interfered. They just they didn't even come and confront
Add
me,
on.
or confronted her. In fact, my mother was the one taking her side. He said, "You cannot talk to your wife like that. She's such a sweet girl. You cannot talk to her like that." Wow. So I felt outnumbered. But they just said this. They said, "Look, you want to fight, you can fight. But make sure this is my mother's advice. She's a nice girl. You make sure you take care of her." She told me this in private the following day after the argument. And I was really surprised coming from my mom, because when I introduced my wife to my mom, she was not really happy with my decision, but yet, my wife won her over.
Mm. Just by being herself, she won her over. That's nice. Really nice. So we have already been live for 55 minutes. Feels very fast, right? Like,
Wow.
the
I
time
think we
just,
spoke too much.
yeah. So we have some comments here. Let me just go through. Um, we have Melanie Yo. She says, when the best of both worlds collide. Yes, that's true. Very
Yeah.
true.
She's another Indian inside. Hi, Melanie.
can
He didn't
cook
eat
very
it.
well.
She loves very good. She does very good Indian food.
Yes.
Nice. We have
Then
one
rice.
from our friend Samuel Tan. Good sharing, good testimony. God is
Hello,
good.
Sam.
Yes, definitely. So
Yeah.
Esther, yep, she's your sister-in-law,
My
right?
wife's my
My
wife's
younger sister.
younger sister
Your
and my
younger
Yeah.
sister.
boss.
Oh,
My
your
boss.
boss. Wow. Okay.
She's
So
watching.
yes, imagine definitely. So Samuel Tan has a question. Can Joe cook? So, so he
Yeah,
wants to know Joe.
I can cook Maggie mee for you, Sam.
So
I used
yes,
to cook. I really used to
Mm.
cook, but with the insurance industry being the schedule being so crazy, right? It's been some time since I stepped into the kitchen, lah. But I need to find time to do it.
yes, yes, yes.
One
Especially
day we'll
now.
be back.
There, giving
One day
idea
we'll
already.
be back. Join me and my
That one
children.
day is
Yeah,
probably going to be tomorrow.
can.
Yeah, it's a weekend, right? It's a weekend activity lah. So yeah.
All right.
So Ruyan here who says such a heartwarming sharing,
Hey,
definitely.
Ruyan.
Thank you. Yeah.
So Joe can cook lah. We got a supporter. So Samuel, please take note. This is Joe's boss.
Yes.
Certified
Family
already.
stands by the you family stands by one another again. Sam,
Yeah.
stand far away.
So yes, Jennifer here says God bless you. Very
Hi,
wonderful
Jen.
story indeed.
Is my she's
Sister,
family. She's family.
sister-in-law.
My cousin's wife.
Yes.
So this reminds me of the movie, like Fast and Furious. Have you all watched it?
Yes,
Vin Diesel, his family
there's
is always
always there's always space for family.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have friends, I only have family. So this is
yeah.
Joe.
Salute la familia.
So yeah, so with this, I just like to wrap up and say thank you so much, Joe and Eunice, for spending your Saturday afternoon with us and sharing a very heartwarming story. I really hope and pray that all the audience here did take something back home, and it does help. Not just with yes, marriage is one of the hardest challenging to actually understand each other because you are staying with each other all the time. But this advice that we've shared here today can also be used with being the month of Merdeka. You can also use it with other races, like since there's time here, learn how to cook other people's other races dishes, like kway teow. Like today my parents, I think they're cooking kway teow for dinner. So that's
Gosh.
so that's I have to go prep later. So that's some activities we can do like during the month of Merdeka to just celebrate. Although yeah, it doesn't look like it's country is in such a good state, but we still have blessings around. So it's better to keep focus on the positive and let the negative just slowly die so soon, lah. Right? So with that,
I know what you're
We
talking about.
agree. We agree. Yeah.
yeah. It's the court cases, right, Joe? So yeah, so keep safe, everybody. Thank you all for spending your time here, and thank you, Joe and Eunice, once again.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you
thank
for
you so
So
having
much.
us, and thank you to all our friends
And supporters.
and supporters who came to who came and sacrificed 1 hour of their time listening
Yes.
to us. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
thank
Appreciate
you,
it,
thank
guys.
you.
Thank you,
All right,
Rachel.
thank you. Okay,
God
bye.
bless you. God bless everybody.
God bless
Bye
Bye.
you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.